Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pulaski County Fiscal Court. Another Tuesday has rolled around, so another meeting is in progress. Certainly glad to see a good crowd here. It shows we're interested in Pulaski County business, so I appreciate everyone being here. I'm going to ask everyone to stand and observe a moment of silence, and then I've asked our County Attorney, Martin Hatfield, to do the pledge after we do the moment of silence. If we just bow our heads and be thankful for what we have in the county, and anyone that you think of that needs on the prayer list, just be thankful for that. Let's observe about 30 seconds of time. Thank you very much, Martin.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. First item of business would be to approve the minutes from our last court meeting. I think everyone has that in front of them. You've had time to look over them if there's any discussion or changes.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Renshaw makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Wielden seconds. All in favor say aye.
No.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. In old business, Anthony, I think you need to present on what you need. Didn't see you there.
In the corner hiding, Judge. Good morning. I have reviewed the specs from the Romaine company for the body scanner. It's an Adani. It does meet the specs. I would like to make a request that, and permission to go ahead and to purchase this, and it comes out of commissary.
What was the dollar amount on it?
Go back here and look. It was 174, 513, 16. $174,513.16.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Renshaw makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Turpin seconds. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Also, I would like to request to surplus the old one. I've talked to the Romaine company. They're going to try to help us surplus it. It's a Soder RS body scanner, and I'd like for your all's permission to surplus that.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Wilson makes a motion, and Mr. Wielden seconds. Any discussion on this motion to surplus? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Jailer. New business. We have a Farbrook Park Board appointment. Jason, would you like to present that?
Yes, that will replace Arden Turner. And, it will, so we just need to, make that appointment there.
Would you care to name who that is?
Oh, yeah. Leanne Drake.
That has been through their board.
Yeah.
Okay. Leanne Drake has been asked to serve on the board at Farbrook. Do I have a motion to fill that board appointment?
Motion.
Mr. Renshaw makes a motion. Any second?
Second.
Mr. Turpin seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion passes. Next item we have is the Foothills Academy. We've beat this around for 6 months, and we've made the budget amendment, but I got a paper back from the DLG that they want to adopt the amendment. So it's a formality. Just got it back from Robert Brown, and we've got to initial that off. So I need a motion to adopt that amendment to the budget.
Been advertised. It has been advertised.
Okay.
Motion.
Mr. Renshaw makes a motion. Would I have a second?
It's been advertised also, yes.
Mr. Wheelan seconds. Any other discussion? It's just a formality with the state again to receive the money. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Anyone here? Bobby? The next item is we have the closing budget and the audit from the Sheriff's Department. Bobby? Sheriff? Good morning.
Morning, how you doing?
Is there any changes?
First thing I wanted to do is, there was a correction to, the handout's already been handed out to the magistrates and the judge, but there's a correction, so I need to hand that correction sheet out.
Thank you. Cheat sheet?
That's my cheat sheet. There's a correction sheet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The correction on page 6 was an error entering the document or the discounts that was found later. The copy was corrected to the totals that's been given to you. All the other districts have been rechecked and are correct. So the total amount due to the county was $2,115,306.56. $2,115,401.30 was paid, resulting in an overpayment of $94.74. Total collections for 2022 under Sheriff's Spec totaled $29,622,350.30. The percentage of tax collected in October to December was 92.71%. The 2022 collections under Sheriff's Spec will undergo more audits at a later date, and the total will be finished at that time. So just as a formality, I guess I need to just approve the Sheriff's Spec's last budget.
There's a motion.
Motion to receive the results of the last budget.
Mr. Renshaw makes that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Strunk seconds. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Anything else, Bobby?
Yes. Second thing on agenda is the budget. I've got something to read here, but based on, I just kind of want fiscal court. I've talked to the judge already about this. I just kind of want fiscal court. What I've learned since being in office for 2 months is that there's a lot of unknowns at the Pulaski Sheriff's Office about some operations. I was actually going to read this. This happens, but just I'll read this in depth so I don't leave nothing out in just a second. But just for an example, a couple weeks ago we had one deputy off that lost his mother. That affected 3 deputy schedules. For 2 hours during the day, we only had 1 deputy out. For 20 hours during the day, we only had 2 deputies out. And for 2 hours, we had 3 deputies out. I came out and insisted on one of those days we had 1 deputy out. In that time period, we had a call at 70 and 39. We had a call at Upper Line Creek. We had a call at Jones Knob. We had a call out 16.5 miles out West 80, and a call at Close A Trailer Park. I know I'm saying a lot, but if y'all know this county, what I'm saying is that was all during 1 hour. I can back up everything here. But anyway, in the last 8 years, Pulaski County Sheriff's Office lost 25 deputies. The other thing is that I found out that Lincoln County has 24,000, population 24,000, pay $2 more an hour than Pulaski County Sheriff's Office does. So the reason I wanted to bring this to the public's attention is after hearing other departments talk about their budgets, I feel it's a need to make fiscal court aware that I am not currently asking for any money, but we'll let them know that I will be asking at a later date. I understand the current situation and the county budget is very, very low. When I ran as sheriff, I said I would do my job with truth and transparency. So here it is. During Sheriff Speck's 8 years in office, there was only 3 months that we was fully staffed. I'm gonna repeat that. 3 months in 8 years, we was fully staffed. This is not saying anything against Sheriff Speck. He led the office through COVID, defund the police, and times where people don't want to work. I find myself starting that same position. This month, we had 2 deputies leaving for other agencies that have more pay or better benefits. I currently have 3 deputies off with surgeries, and several weeks ago, I've had deputies off. In the last several weeks, I've had deputies off and clerks off with sicknesses and family emergencies. Now, why am I saying all this? Because we don't have enough personnel to cover all the calls that are dispatched out. The number of calls have increased dramatically over the last couple of years. The calls have also increased in seriousness of type of calls. Mental instability warrants, emergency protective orders, assist DSS, group homes, alarms, suspicious subjects, homeless, drug complaints, etc. Training has also increased. When I started, you had to attend 40 hours a year. Now they have a lot more training that's been made mandatory in order to keep our certifications. When we lose a deputy from Pulaski County Sheriff's Office, the amount of expense at the taxpayer's expense is expensive. We start looking into hiring someone, a deputy into position, approximately 1 year before this person is ready to begin patrolling our communities. We are a sheriff's department that answers 90-something% of all the calls in Pulaski County, so we are the primary law enforcement. I'm extremely proud of my staff. I have witnessed them work when they didn't feel good, when they had family members ill, or when we're shorthanded. I've seen them back out of vacations when we're shorthanded. We are in a situation where if one employee leaves or has to miss work for any reason, the whole entire schedule has to be changed to accommodate this. I was not the only candidate that ran that stated we needed more deputies for the growing number of calls. As a matter of fact, all 4 were saying the same thing. I said then the only way to fix the turnover rate at the sheriff's office was to increase pay, increase the number of personnel, or not answer as many calls. And I understand not answering the calls is not popular, but the only way, but there are only so many calls that these deputies can answer during the day. We are currently in the business of being reactive to all the calls instead of being proactive. I would like to go into this a lot more detail at a later time, but with this being said, just be careful what you wish for. Transparency is not always pleasant. So, thank you all.
Any questions? Well,
Sure,
I do.
sure.
I'm trying to understand your budget and everything else. I know we provide almost $2 million in services to the sheriff's department between payroll, healthcare, retirement.
1.24 million.
Huh?
1.24 million.
That's just for
Yeah.
the,
That's
that's
just
just,
pay.
that
That's
not
just,
benefits.
that's
doesn't-
just pay, we pay the benefits
Right.
also.
doesn't include
For the benefits
healthcare,
of
and it
the-
doesn't include,
Hazardous duty.
78%, but is
Sure.
it 78% retirement for
No, right at 50%.
50%? We pay 50% of that.
Right.
We don't pay all the salary. You get money too, at your department.
Sure.
If you're asking for $2 more an hour, how much can your budget sustain, or are you asking the county to pay all that $2 per hour?
Well,
We're in a tight situation on our budget, and it's getting,
Fair.
inflation rates 20% on a lot of our stuff, so, and I understand the need. But what is your thought behind this $2
Well, and I just throw out the $2 as a matter of fact that Lincoln County, which has a population of 24,000, gets paid more than our deputies. If we're gonna keep.
Do they have hazardous duty?
They do not have hazardous duty.
That's, there you go.
But-
There's
That's
your
a
rub.
big difference in money.
That's your rub.
They do not have their hazardous duty.
Yeah.
But we've lost, of course, we lost one to state police. Played fair, we gained one from state police. So we had a trade-off there. We was blessed, we just hired
Right.
one this week from state police. So that worked out good, getting one back in. We lost one because, he went because of the benefit, well, actually, we've lost two because of the benefits package. That's huge, the insurance is huge.
We're working on,
But, I understand it, but I'm just saying 24 people in the last, we spend astronomical amounts sending these people to the academy. And then for them to stay their 3-year contract and then they're bailing out and just going somewhere else, or they don't have to stay there 3 years. We've had, and I don't have the numbers from it, we've lost a lot in the private sector, going into private jobs. I'm just saying that,
I
in
know.
order to keep people, we're working our deputies to death. But to answer you on your money question, on our money, that's a very good question, because here's what's very confusing. I was gonna get into this at a later date. Last couple weeks ago, I gave back $100,000. We've still got some more that we're going to donate back to the sheriff's office. Well, why am we donating money back if I'm asking for money? The issue is, it's the way the budget's set. Our budget starts off the first year. By the end of the year, we have to use that money or give it back to fiscal court. But that money cannot be used for salary in any ways. That's where we're hurting. We're not hurting that bad as far as equipment, gear, and all this kind of stuff. We can buy equipment and gear. Of course, obviously, the more deputies we hire, the more equipment and gear we got. But we can't spend it for salaries. That's where we're hurting. We don't have no overtime. We set a budget for the salaries, and that's where we're hurting, is the salaries.
and then, another question.
Sure.
The judicial center. I know, are we getting reimbursed 100% for retirement, health, and payroll for all the employees at the judicial center?
No.
And are we overstaffed at are we at the required amount of employees for the judicial center?
Yes. The way judicial center, we've got 6 full-times, and the rest are all part-time. So the part-times only work the number of hours that are needed to fill in for them. So that they don't get paid, the part-times don't get paid unless they're actually working. The 6 full-time get paid, but that's money comes through ALC. So ALC reimburses us for that.
And
Not
for
100%.
healthcare
Yeah.
and, for healthcare and
Not
retirement?
100%.
Not 100%, but they,
No.
not, a hun-
Not
no.
100%?
No, they do not, no, they do
Not
not.
close.
reimburse
So
it.
we're still
No.
paying that
Yes.
portion of it too?
Not even close.
So, and there's also the school resource officers, which the school, under contract, their contract, but now that's not coming, that's the reason we're still short some on school resource officers, but that's the reason I'm looking for retired certifieds, because I can't afford to take someone else off the road. We're working 14 right now, 14 deputies on a 24, 7-day-a-week schedule, 14 deputies.
On the school
So-
resource officers, the schools are paying that now, right?
They're paying that, because I'm getting retired certified, other than Chris Fisher. Chris Fisher's the only one, he was hired back then as a school resource officer. He is the only deputy we got that's getting benefits, the benefits package.
So I understand the need for more officers, and I hear it every day about, why can't we get more officers to patrol the road, to deal with all the speeders on the road and all that? And I understand there's a balance that's gotta be done, and it's gotta be looked at, but I wanna make sure that we're maximizing our total income from AOC and all that, and we're gonna be looking at the benefit package. We just found out some new information, so we're gonna be re-looking at
Right.
all the benefit packages and stuff like that in the future.
Yeah, that's my whole purpose for coming here, just letting you know that there is a need, because when I tell this out in public, a lot of people are unaware that, the Kentucky State Police are phasing out, is what I'm hearing, and I'm just being truthful and
There's
transparent.
there's no way we can compete with we can't compete with the state in payroll.
No, I'm not, no,
There's
no,
no
I
way
wouldn't
we
expect,
can do
no,
that.
I'm not expecting that, I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is the number of calls that they answer here is, I would be really conservative to say that 5% of the calls is what they answer. So the
The
Pulaski
state
Sheriff's-
police?
Yes.
I mean, hopefully, as new sheriff, you can work on that relationship and try to get
They're not,
that
they're
increase.
leaving.
Huh?
They're leaving.
They're
done-
leaving?
They're done told me, they're leaving Pulaski.
They're
When
leaving
when they
Pulaski
retire out of here,
County
they're
Police.
leaving. That's what I was told, straight from state troopers.
So we won't have them at all.
That's right. And we only got 3, I think, now working this county right now.
Yeah, I know, we only had a very limited amount.
Yeah. My purpose for saying that is, the number, of For me, it's a safety factor. This is nothing new. 3 years I said the same thing. It's a safety factor for me to send their deputies out. And it's one of those three things that got to happen. If they don't happen, we're sending their deputies out into dangerous situations with drugs and the mental and the number of calls, with everybody having cell phones calling these calls. They're going out there, and for us to have one or two deputies out, but when we have one deputy off, I mean, it's either that or shut down. You know, the sheriff's office can shut down at nights. That's not popular either. I mean, we throw that out.
No, you're already on a very limited staff at night anyway.
Like I said,
From what I understand.
14 deputies,
Yeah.
7 days a week. If somebody come out scheduled, and some people have even mentioned, transparency coming out. Some people have mentioned, well, won't you go to 5/8? It'd be easier to fill the schedule, because I have about 6 or 8 deputies that would absolutely leave if we go to 5/8, because they could go over city and do the same thing or go to somewhere else. That's the benefit, that they get that extra day off.
How is the smaller cities and their police forces? I know they don't cover 24/7, a lot of them.
They don't. We sign an MOU, so I mean they're
It-
taxpayers too, so we take care of their
Yeah.
cities when they're not there.
I mean,
You know,
would it help if they had more
Absolutely it'd help.
representatives in their
Absolutely.
cities
I'll
that
take help
may
from anywhere.
lift your burden on the county?
Absolutely.
So-
See, a lot of people don't realize Eubank went from 2 full-time to a full-time. Now they're down to just 1 part-time. So we ain't having problems inside Eubank, then we just got 1 part-time up there. Science Hill's chief just is leaving here just shortly. So went from 2, they're gonna go to 1. So, anytime there's a problem in Ferguson, Science Hill, Burnside, and they don't have the staffing, then Pulaski County Sheriff's Office has to pick that up as well.
And one other question.
Sure.
Any way of looking for grants that can help?
Yes, we are doing that. I think that's, especially, to save some of our money on our, that's one reason the vest wasn't purchased with last year's money. It's because toward the end of the year, when we was getting ready to buy a bunch of vests, we found out we can get them for buy one, get one free or half price. So, to be frugal with the money, this year, because, just be honest, the deputies are wearing outdated vests. They are currently wearing outdated vests, and I don't like that. My job is to protect these guys. That's the reason I hired an equipment training officer, to make sure they had the proper equipment and the proper training. And we're gonna get strict on that.
I mean, I'm sure this administration can help with grant writing or
Sure.
something like that
Yeah.
if need be.
Floyd's already reached out to me as well, to any kind of grants we need. Sure, he's already reached out.
Okay.
I agree.
Thank you. Sorry for all the questions.
Hey, no problem.
One other thing,
Sure.
I would come up with, if I were you, just stating, it's our budget season. So I would come up with a
Right.
figure before, because
Right.
anything after the budget, it's impossible.
That's the reason I want to do this. now,
Right.
'cause know
I
you
just
always-
wanted to make you,
Yeah. That's the reason I met with you today, because I was supposed to meet with you 2 weeks ago, but I had the flu, so, that's the reason I just wanted transparency and for y'all to
get it.
know just kind of where we're at and struggling, and I just to be honest with you, we've already went away from unlocking car doors, unless there's a child, animal, or accident, it's in the roadway or something like that, and and it's not popular, but I'm going away from answering alarms. I mean, people have alarms in their house. Unless a key holder is going to respond to that alarm, we're not going to go respond. So, I mean, I know it's not popular. People want us to go out and check it out. But at the end of the day, you get an alarm 16 miles out east 80, you're an hour. Going out there, checking that house, to only find out it's okay and come back.
Yeah.
I've done this job 25 years, and there's one time in my entire career that I went to an active alarm that was actually a burglary in progress. So you do the percentages, I understand what I'm saying, it's not popular, but I also understand that I don't want to have another 8 years or another 4 years, whatever, with the amount of turnover that we're having. That's the young deputies that coming in, all this. I like to sustain our deputies.
I have one other question.
Sure.
Can you give us a breakdown on your employees, how many total you have and what areas?
Yes, I'll get that to you.
Okay.
I've actually got the actual schedule right here for, and I can get you all a copy of I think I do.
You can just email it to us.
Sure,
or-
I'll get that to you. But I've actually got I thought I had right here it is. Like a copy of our schedule, how it's broke down. This is all the working deputies. But, and if you look right here, I mean, of course, this will get a little better when we get these 3 back off these surgeries. You know,
Just a breakdown of all your employees,
Sure.
what areas
And
they're
what
in,
the-
whether
yeah,
they're secretaries or whatever?
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah, no
thank you.
problem, no problem whatsoever. Anything
Any other,
else?
any other discussion? Thanks, Sheriff.
All right, thank you.
I want to ask our County Clerk, Tim Price. He's not on the agenda, but he came up with some stuff he needed to present to court.
Okay, okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for working me in. We had a little issue that I was not aware of, and we need to get it taken care of. And if you give everybody a copy of, I'd like to ask the court for the use of $5,600 for the office cash drawers for as long as I'm elected to the office of county clerk. And I think y'all have a breakdown of how that is and why the need is for that. I was not aware that I was supposed to come and ask the court for that until the auditors made me aware, so, so I thought I
They
better.
tend to do those things.
So, that's what I'm here for this morning, and I would like to ask permission of the court to use that money.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Strunk makes the motion and Mr. Wheeldon seconds. Any other discussion on this?
Yeah, just for transparency, this was already money you were already using.
Yes,
and it was
that is-
already previous approved.
That
through
is
the
correct,
last
yes,
court.
that's right.
This is not new money, this
No,
is just,
actually, I've been using this money probably illegally, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah, since the 1st of January, I've been using this money.
We have a motion on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Thanks, Tim.
Okay. One other thing, Mark, brought to my attention, we're wanting, you want to explain what we're?
Yeah. Amazing how it works. I got more than 2 minutes. At the request of one of our managers, that they're asking for access to the, to Tim's files, the deeds and the plats. And I brought it in front of somebody in your office, and they said you had to have approval, and that's all we're asking for, is to set up a password and a email and a password so they can get access to the deeds. They're in the road department.
Motion.
Mr. Turpin makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Am I still on the agenda?
Go ahead, Mark, since you're here.
Because I still got another 2 minutes, or my 2 minutes are already eaten into it. You have 4 pieces of paper in front of you. On the 16th of February, we were asked to submit our voting plan. It's not changed, basically, from last year. This is just an update. As you can see, we're going to have 3 drop boxes, one at each of Tim's locations, the Main Street, the main office, the MVL branch at 124 North Main Street, and the Grand Central branch at 2821 South Highway 27. That's for people who get absentee ballots and don't want to mail them back. They can bring them back to his office and turn them in that way. The 6-day excused absentee voting, that's the old style voting where you had to have an excuse. You know, where you're in your last trimester, you're going to be out for surgery. There's 17 different excuses that you can use to vote those 6 days. They begin on the 3rd of May, which is a Wednesday. They run on the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then the following Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 8th, 9th, and 10th. That's in Tim's office at 100 North Main Street, room 208, 8 to 4:30. Beginning on the 11th, which is a Thursday, we have our no excuse voting. That's what the state calls it. We'll probably call it early voting. We're having it at our 3 main locations: Hal Rogers, Rocky Hollow, and South Kentucky RECC. The one with the graph, that was from 2024, so I made a small mistake on the Thursday. Thursdays from 9 to 7 instead of 9 to 8 as shown here. Fridays 9 to 6 and Saturdays 9 to 6. Hal Rogers at 180 Oak Leaf Lane, Rocky Hollow at 142 South Central Avenue, and South Kentucky RECC at 200 Electric Avenue. On Saturday, May the 13th, we're going to have additional voting at Nancy Elementary Gym. That's at 240 Highway 196. That's from 9 to 6 as well. On Election Day, we're going to have 8 locations open. They're on your last page. That's from 6 to 6. Anybody can vote anywhere in those locations. Any Pulaski County voter can vote at those 8 locations. Is that 2 minutes?
You're doing well. Doing good.
Any questions? I guess,
Yeah, just, can you explain what you explained to me about why Shopville is not gonna be an early voting location?
Shottville, the early voting was sacrificed for 2 reasons, because we went the Burnside, and the other reason was because we couldn't get the old gym on Saturdays. Everybody didn't like the elementary school gym, nobody liked it, so we moved it back to the old Shottville gym by popular demand, and that's not available to us on Saturdays.
That would only be available the day of voting day?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's why we didn't open Saturday. And hindsight, I wish I had, because we only voted 106 in the early voting session in 2020, I guess it was. We voted 189 at Nancy. I think we increased Nancy to 480 some odd last time. So I'm sure Shottville would have increased as well. And again, I wish I could, have all my places open, but it's just logistics, and it's for every day you're open on early voting, you got to have a different set of machines, scanning machines, and e-poll books. You can't sit there and use the same the scanning machines that you can on, you got to use a different set on early voting than you do election day. So that's why we got to have, like I said, each one of these 4 places we're talking about, we got to have 16 machines for those. We got to set up 2 for early and 2 for election day. So, it's, and then we got to have sets of e-poll books as well. So it's just, I don't know why the state made us do that, but that's what they're asking us to do.
I just wanted you to explain that on
That's
video.
fine, that's fine.
Because they'll be asking me about it. So.
Well, I mean, I think they had a little over 1,000 to vote last time, so, nobody likes to vote early. That's why I'm up here to get everybody to vote early. The more they vote early, the less we have on election day. It's the same smiling people, it's the same machines, same ballots, same locations. Just a little bit less crowds. Any other
Thanks, Mark.
questions? Sorry it took so long.
Thanks, Mark. We have one other item that's come before us since the agenda was made. Misty, would you like, from solid waste?
Yeah, I provided you all with pictures. I think he gave you all copies of the pictures of the property at 1685 Colo Grade Road. That was actually prosecuted. Judge Sloan found the owner guilty and fined them, but the property owner is in bad health, unable to clean the property up. So she wanted to know if we would possibly be able to clean this property up. She did find that it was in violation of County Ordinance 930.1, even though it's not in a subdivision. So she asked us to clean it, if we could clean it up and put a lien on it.
Motion.
Mr. Renshaw makes a motion. I have a second.
second.
Mr. Turpin seconds. Any discussion?
Believe it needs it.
It needs it. Martin, what do we do on
Picture.
getting our money back? We put a lien on them.
Yeah, we put a lien on it, but
Nothing ever happens.
can't do
Done a
anything the
few.
property sells.
There's one provision of the ordinance allows the county to go in, or solid waste to go in and clean up the property, and then you place a lien on it. And I think solid waste, you all have your own attorney, right? Solid Waste Board does?
We do, yes.
Yeah, so they can then pursue foreclosing on the property, getting it sold, and then our lien.
We've got a lot of properties we're cleaning and mowing now that we need to do something with, in my opinion.
Does that money come back to the court or go to the 109 board?
Whoever pays it out.
I mean, I'm just talking
I
about,
don't know if you all pay it or they pay
Well,
it.
when, like, we had, was it a month or 2 ago?
Yeah.
We had a check presented to us for one of the properties, and we turned those into the
Yeah.
county finance.
We've gotten it a couple or 3
Yeah,
times.
we've gotten a handful,
and I
but
mean,
it's not a lot.
In all my time here, and that's not,
I think that the ordinance actually says something about putting it on the tax bills as well, but I don't really know how, I don't know how to go about all that, but, we don't get a lot of it back now.
Typically, their taxes are delinquent anyway, so.
Right.
And to do that, to file a lawsuit, you gotta run a title search and, join in any other lien holders, if there's a mortgage on the property, things of that nature.
cost efficient.
It's a little A little bit.
A lot to it.
Well, just takes a little time. Who's your all's attorney still?
Dan Thompson,
I'll talk to Dan about it.
yeah.
You didn't hurt your butt.
It wasn't important.
Any other discussion? I have a motion on the floor and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
We come to the treasurer's report.
Should we re-advertise for next time?
Ms. Jones?
Believe it or not, I have nothing today.
Okay. Any citizens' comments?
What about our road list? We gotta do our road list.
Road list, you have it in front of you. Did we get approval on it?
Motion.
Motion.
Mr. Wilson makes the motion. Mr. Ranshaw seconds. Any discussion on the road list? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Comments? Anyone want to speak?
Part of the road list.
Let us know your name and where you live.
Brenda Mitchell. I live at 154 Mitchell Lane. And we have a dog problem. And my granddaughter has written out a statement here where the dogs have tried to bite her twice.
Okay.
They're very aggressive. I mean, Adam does his job wonderful, but with this situation, his hands are tied. And I wish you all would put back in an ordinance to take care of these dogs. Don't let them go to the pound and pay $25, $30 and get them back, and then in a week they gotta go back. 3 strikes and you're out. So, and this is on Chapel Way. 101, what's Libby's?
101 and 136 Chapel Way.
Is she running a mill or something?
My name is Brandy Grubb, and I live at 124 Chapel Way, so I am literally in between both of these houses. The one at 136 Chapel Way is Libby Atkins and Garrett Atkins. They have a past of running a pit bull rescue, and they were told after being found with multiple dead dogs on their property down in Wayne County that they were never supposed to have any animals before. I have spoken with Adam about this numerous times over the last 5 years. This woman now has a total of 8 pit bulls in her backyard. She feeds them about once every 2 weeks, maybe then. I know this for a fact because I have cameras all around my property. Every movement that is made, it is videotaped. Her dogs have broken loose. They have killed my animals. They have killed my chickens. Adam has been out, caught the chickens with the dog, but because they had put it back on the chain, he couldn't do anything about it. The smell. We cannot open our windows because of the flies and the smell. It's awful. It travels down to Brenda's house, down on Mitchell Lane around the corner. The people at 101 Chapel Way have huge Great Danes. They run free all the time. They have attacked my daughter. She ended up with stitches in her ear, in her chin. She ended up with an infection in her heart because of this dog. Adam allowed them to keep the dog in their home for 7 days to quarantine there. Adam has been out numerous times. They've been through the court system numerous times, been fined their measly little $25, and been allowed to have their animal back. As soon as it's done, the animal's back running free, torturing everybody. We cannot go out of our homes without we're being growled at, nearly attacked. I have animals that I keep in my home. I cannot allow them to come out in the yard, even with us being on leashes. Their dogs will run over and try to attack mine. I have a 14-year-old boxer and a 4-year-old certified, fully trained German Shepherd. And we're not protected at all, even with my dogs being on leashes. The other issue that we have with 101 Chapel Way that I have been in coordinating with solid waste, I have been in coordinating with the health department. I have been in coordinating with EPA. The trash is ungodly. It is piled up all around their home. It has caused rats so severely that it has invaded my home. I've lost over $2,000 worth of foods and paper goods and products that I go when I buy at Sam's Club and so forth. We have 7 people at home, so I have to stockpile. They have caused well over $2,000 worth of damage into our home alone by eating through our walls, our electrical units, a deep freeze. It's nice to go outside and find a rat chewed into your deep freeze cord, and the deep freezer not working anymore. It's become unbearable to live there. We've lived there for over 8 years. These people have been there for 5 on both sides of me. And it's awful that it's infecting the entire community. Another person that lives 2 doors down from me, it affects him. It affects the other elderly people that live on our road that have lived there for 20 years or more. The other thing that we're also dealing with 101 Chapel Way is the drugs. They are muling drugs. We have sent pictures to Bobby Jones through the tip line. There is a car that comes and pulls up, drops 2 book bags full through a window. They hand 1 empty out and they leave. They mule in and out at 2 o'clock of the morning. During the nice season, they take canoes down to the end of Slate Branch, go out with a bucket and a couple of book bags, no fishing poles, mind you. Go out somewhere for an hour, come back with the canoe, bring it back. And then they leave a few hours later, come back, and the book bags are full. So where they're going, we don't know. But this has been reported to the sheriff's office. We've reported everything that we can, and these people just seem to skate by with nothing. And our lives are made miserable. Our children can't go outside safely and play. One of them was born at that home, and he has spent maybe 30 days of his 8 years of life being allowed to go outside and play. That's not fair at all. There's a little boy next door to me who's about 4. He can't go outside and play. It's not safe.
Not without his daddies out there.
Exactly. And when it's going down and it's affecting the people on another street, it's become a huge problem. And we have talked about it. We went through every route possible, so this was our last resort to come to you guys. We need the help.
Martin, can I ask you, if a dog comes on your property, do you have the right?
No, ma'am.
You don't?
Under state law, you can only do that when dogs are chasing cattle.
Chickens?
Or when you're cattle, or when you're attacked by a dog, then you can defend yourself. But
Exercise,
the state,
how chicken be protected?
the state law is not real helpful for any of us. And Adam's done a great job,
Yes,
and
he
as you
has.
noted, we filed charges against these folks, and the way our ordinance is set up, it's got to be 3 events for it to be habitual, and then we can charge them, which we've done. And you're right, it's a $25 fine plus $100 and some in court cost, and they paid their fine, and now we've got charges. We have prepared charges again, but they get the 3 start over again once they come in and plead guilty or found guilty, and then the clock starts ticking again, or the numbers of times for them to be habitual. And so we got to wait on those 3 events again, and the 3rd time, and like I said, I don't know if the judge has signed it yet or not, but we've got a criminal complaint pending again. And Adam's done all that the law and the ordinance allows him to do, as has the county attorney's office.
I know we tried to update our dog ordinances. Would that have helped out any at all in this situation?
It had requirements of keeping them on a leash and the like, and it had the punishment got greater each time with each conviction. So it would have helped certainly from that standpoint. And I'm trying to recall, but I think we had language in there about being able to seize the dog, and then people, the owner would have to come and pay to get it out of the,
I know we exempted sports dogs and, and competition dogs and all
Right.
that, but,
Yeah.
but this, that our current, the one we were looking at doing before, that could help out the situation.
it could.
But that didn't pass though, did it?
No, ma'am.
Something we may need to relook at, but, the issue with the kids, have you tried to go through family services on children?
I think they're saying it's
Our children
their
are the ones
children that,
who can
Oh,
go.
okay, I thought you
They're-
said there was one that was.
Their
oh, okay.
children are allowed to run free and do
Oh,
whatever,
okay.
trash, whatever. But our children are the ones who aren't safe because of their lifestyle.
And I feel sorry for you about that, and I've been looking in a few different areas, things that we can try to improve it, but
we just don't have a lot of enforcement teeth
Yeah.
from a criminal standpoint to help. I mean, again, Adam's great. I mean, we stay in touch with him all the time. He does an amazing job for our entire county. And we're very familiar with your situation and are certainly doing all we can to help improve it.
I know
Or to
Danny-
alleviate it.
I know Danny and Misty does everything they can possibly do to try to deal with the trash issue, and that's my biggest concern is the trash. I mean, I'm not
Miss-
talking about just
Miss Taylor,
other
I've had-
items seen out in the yard, at normal
Oh, it's.
county.
It's
It's the trash that's in these yards. And
There's piles of it, and then they burn it, and then it comes in through your central air system, and you're choking and dying pretty much. You know, when you've got a child with severe asthma, it's
Well,
pretty bad.
the normal rules on burning is if it's black smoke, it's illegal, and you should be calling the fire department and have them come out and put
Fire
it out.
department has been there numerous times, and the last time they told them that they were gonna give them a $10,000 fine and made them put it out themselves, but nothing came of that. That was at Fire.
I don't even know if we
that
have
came
any,
out.
I don't even know if that's even possible,
What's that?
a fine of 10,000.
Any other discussion? Thank you for appearing, and
Did
we
you want
will,
to see this, the letter that she wrote, my granddaughter?
if
You
you,
have,
if
you
you want to
can
leave
give
with
us a
us.
copy of it.
Probably get that to the,
I'll give it right here to her and she can pass it
I
on.
will. Thank you.
Anything you can do would be appreciated. Helps with make up killing the chicken.
Ty's eggs have got, you need those chickens.
I do, and I don't own a dog, and when I did, it stayed on a leash, and that's the reason I don't own one. That's no life for a dog, but take care of your animals.
Any other comments? At this time, Mr. Mike Wilson will make a presentation.
The great Joan Isaacs.
All right, to Ms. Jones.
Center, baby.
Down? Oh, okay.
John, we don't want you to do this, though.
Bittersweet for me too. I will. Can't promise. Oh, wow.
John, read it.
Read it, yeah.
Gotta read it, John.
Let Mike read it.
I'm supposed to read it. I don't want to get glasses because I can't see it. Thank you for 30 years of unmatched dedication, service, leadership, and your vision of making Pulaski County a better place for our families. Because of your wealth of knowledge, kindness, respect, and loyalty, county government has thrived on a whole new level. Thank you all. It's sad. 30 years, I mean, I feel like I've grown up here and I've been blessed beyond measure. So I thank all the people I've been through, that didn't sound right. But all the judges I've worked for, all the magistrates I've worked for, they have been nothing but kind, and this is like I said, it's bittersweet, but, you know, I'm going on to different things, so, but thank you all.
I've been with you all 30 of them.
Yeah,
Don't make us old.
it makes us but I couldn't have done it without everybody. It's a group effort, as magistrates definitely know. And I was blessed enough to have these three ladies who are the best I could have ever asked for. So thank you all for the opportunity to do this.
Thank you. We're gonna miss you.
I'm gonna miss you all.
Well, we appreciate you, Joan. You've got a lot of knowledge up there, and we hate to lose it, for sure.
You know, it's not like work when you love what you do. And I've loved what I've done, and I've loved the people I've worked with, so. Thank you all.
Thanks, Joan, for your service. I know you've worked with many county judges
5.
and numerous magistrates. Appreciate your long career in public service, and just enjoy your retirement.
Thank you, I will.
Don't spoil those grandbabies.
That's what I plan on doing. First thing on my list.
We're going to ask to go into executive session now to discuss personnel. Could I have a motion for that?
Motion.
Mr. Wilson makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Richard Turpin does a second. All in favor, say aye.
Nah.
Any opposed? We will go to executive session, and we will be back in this room when we get done. back into regular session of fiscal court. Mr. Golden makes that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Wilson makes a second. All in favor, say aye. We are back in regular fiscal court meeting. No action was taken in the executive session. Do we have any further action here?
I would like to make a motion that we hire Carissa Morris for treasurer, for interim treasurer at this point, acting treasurer at this point,
That will be through June 30.
through June 30th.
And that's what's required by the statute 68, KR 68.010, subsection 4 states that if there's a vacancy created by the Office of Treasurer, then fiscal court shall appoint an acting treasurer to serve until the current county treasurer, in the case of resignation or retirement, until the end of the current county treasurer's term of office, which Jones' term would have ended June 30th of this year.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Turpin seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Any other business to bring before the court? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Mr. Wilson makes the motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Strunk? Seconds. We stand adjourned. Thank you.